What's going on, Seaport? It's Pac-Man Jones for Savannah Seaport News. And well, man, we just had a whole bunch of shootings on the west side. Ever since the 28th of June, we had at least 5 shootings. One of those was a justified homicide. Now, the first shooting that happened since June the 28th on Wednesday was the one that happened on Augusta Avenue and Brittany Streets on Wednesday, when police say a 20-year-old male was shot near the intersection of Augusta Avenue and Brittany Streets. At about 3:45 p.m., officers responded to the shots fired call in that area. About 15 minutes later, the male victim arrived to the hospital with a gunshot wound. The wounds of that victim was non-life threatening, so that person is still living in that situation. Now, our last homicide of June happened on June the 30th on Friday, where it was a fatal shooting on the 1100 block of West 49th Street that Friday morning at 8:15 a.m., where they found 34-year-old Marquise Allen suffering from life-threatening injuries. He succumbed to those injuries at the scene. Investigators have determined that the shooting was domestic in nature and said that at this time it has been an act of self-defense. So this is probably the first justified homicide I read this year. I kind of didn't want to report on it initially when it happened because I didn't know how to group this homicide, whether it's just like another homicide, but it's a justified homicide. So I don't want to put it as the number 22 homicide, but I don't know where to put this on the level of different homicides. And I don't have any pictures of the victim, even though I was searching up and down for pictures of Marquise Allen. But in another news on the west side, there was actually a physical altercation that occurred on West 45th Street Friday on June the 30th as well. Officers originally responded to a report of a shooting in the area around 9:15 p.m. When police arrived to the scene, they found Jonathan Gaines, who ages 21, suffering from what was initially thought had to been a graze injury from a gunshot wound. When Gaines was taken to the hospital for treatment, doctors found that his injuries was not caused by a gunshot, but rather by a fight that he was injured in. I guess he got scraped or cut really, not severely, but just cut deep. But shots were fired during the fight. Shots were fired during that incident. Luckily, nobody was shot by the bullets, but police believe that he was shot first. But luckily, he walked away with his life and just with little injuries. Also on Saturday, July the 1st, Savannah police are investigating a shooting of a 30-year-old male that occurred Saturday morning on the 500 block of Emerald Drive. Of course, that's Frazier Homes. That's the west side, of course. Officers responded to the call of a shots fired around 4:30 a.m. The man arrived at the hospital in a private car with non-life-threatening injuries about 45 minutes later. Detectives do not believe this is a random shooting. The events that led up to the shooting are still under investigation as well. And also, I'm getting some news as of today where a man was shot today, this Sunday morning, around 6:30 a.m. on Montgomery and West 60th Street or West 61st Street. It's really, the crime scene spanned from West 59th through West 61st. So I just heard about that this morning. Information about that shooting is still limited because they don't know the extent of that person injury of that shooting that happened earlier this morning. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna give an update for these shootings, or if I can at least give an update for at least one of these shootings that happened. But just another sad week that's been going on in Savannah. Really hot time in the west side. It's really heating up on the west side. Summer started on the 20th of June, so you got a lot of people that's really out in the street being active. School's out for kids, so you're gonna have, hate to say it, but you're gonna have a lot more kids getting caught in crossfire or being targets of gunfire because of everybody's just out in the street right now. It's summertime. It's hot outside. People aren't thinking regularly when they're out in that weather. Tensions go up easier when it's hot outside. People don't believe that weather don't have an influence on the crime. Yeah, it does. But yeah, I mean, everything that comes a factor, and plus you got to deal with the street stuff that happens on the side. Obviously I don't know anything about that, but any other updates I can give y'all about this, I will. And before I end this all out, a lot of people do complain that all I talk about is homicide, shootings, murders, crime. Hey, for those people that don't like it, I talk about the community from my point of view. And when I say things, sometimes I ain't gonna lie, some videos that I done, I'd be like, damn, I shouldn't have said that. But the video's still up there, it is what it is. But I say things not to be controversial, but I say things because I know if I would have said it any other way, you guys won't react to it. So if I say it this way, or if I put the narrative on the title to make it say, homicide this or whatever, it's to get you guys to interact more, to get you guys to react, whether it's positive reaction or a negative opinion. I always want people that are inside the city to react to what I'm saying on these homicides. And you know what? I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. I probably don't qualify for either one. I don't qualify to be a teacher. I'm just a guy who makes videos about the Savannah community and upload it a day or two at a time. But however, I do feel like I can provide some solutions. Like I said, I don't have the answers to crime. I don't have every answer, but what I can say is that I can point some people into the right direction, because I do get a lot of feedback from a lot of people who do a lot of community events, community give backs, people that just really want to reach out to the community, whether it's a back to school charity event or just a summer camp. There has been some going on in Savannah. Anthony Lanier just had one just the other day, I believe yesterday, and I'm willing to promote other people's not businesses, but just those type of events, just like back to school events, or just something for the community, like an outreach program. Oh, and by the way, I will say I have a link in the description for my boy over at C-Portlandia Films. He just did a documentary about some Savannah artists, and also with that documentary he has a GoFundMe, I believe, or a fundraiser that is for at-risk youth teens, or just at-risk youth children in Savannah. I put that in the link in the description. I just watched that a week ago. Well, actually, when it first came out, I watched it, and it's a good film. That guy over there, he's doing something out there, a little bit different. He's trying to reach out to the younger kids in Savannah. But I'm willing to promote other people's stuff, just like homie Taylor Henderson, C-Portlandia, and just anybody else that has a good positive message. And a lot of people are wondering, well, why haven't you done this already? Well, my biggest issue with that, and sometimes it's like the biggest issue with my channel, is that I get contacted all the time from people that's in music, people, just anybody, mainly people that's in music. They'll contact my Gmail, or they'll hit me up through Facebook, and a lot of times I'm deceived, because the person, they'll hit me up and say they have like this organization comes up. Like, man, this happened to me like a handful of times, where somebody will type up a message to me saying that they have this foundation that they have going on at this park or somewhere. I'm like, okay, well, I'm interested. I'll look it up, and after a few more days, that person deletes their Facebook page, and I can't do my resources about what's going on. And then a week later, I see they reactivated their Facebook page, and they trying to send me links to the music. I'm like, no, that's not how you do it. That's not how you do anything. You don't have to bait me to say, hey, I got a foundation, and turn around and say, hey, listen to my mixtape, promote it. No, because for one, if I really like your music, I just talk about it freely. I don't have to, you know, you don't have to bait me like that. Just don't bait me. You know, if you got a real serious foundation, or not even a business, but just something that you can give out to the community, like a give back, or just anything that you can just reach out to the community, contact me. I'll put my Gmail in the link in the description. I'll put my Facebook in the link in the description. I'll put my Twitter in the link in the description. So everybody who has a voice or that can connect with the people on the streets in Savannah, man, I'm willing to do everything that I can. You know, I really am. And pretty soon I'm gonna start doing interviews with other like homicide victims or homicide victims' parents. You know, I got something really special coming up pretty soon with Linda Bryan. You know, I'm not gonna say anything more else about it, but you know, I got a whole lot of stuff just coming along on this channel, and it's gonna get real. It's gonna get real emotional. So just stay tuned and stay blessed, C-Port.